What is up with it, YouTube? It's your boy Cypher, back at it again with some more social commentary over gameplay. Today, though, we're going to be discussing something that's very important and probably very relevant to my audience, as you're all now no longer 12 and young adults entering the workforce, aka the real world. And that's going to be how to employ your employer, what to expect out of your employer and out of your jobs. So now it's pretty easy to just get lost out there and just kind of accept whatever comes to you, but there definitely is some strong advantages if you play your cards right. There's a lot of power that workers hold over their establishments, and let's try to play into that power as much as we can, because at the end of the day, you're working for yourself. Fuck the company. All right, let's be real. So first things first, these aren't particularly in order, but they're all very important, is going to be schedule, alright? No one likes a random schedule. You should know straight from the rip what your availability is going to be, what's expected to you out of your availability, and what sort of hours you're going to be working. Now, a lot of entry-level positions, they don't have set schedules and they expect you to work all over the fucking place, but as anyone who's ever worked at that sort of position, there are people that get their set schedules, and you know what? It's usually the older ones, because they know if they put their foot down, they can get what they want. So if you're looking to be a mornings person or an afternoons person, and you're not looking to do weekends, this, that, or the other thing, now this may be a bit of a compromise, a little bit of a push and take between you and your employer, depending on how entry level the position is. Now, don't get me wrong, there's no such thing as skill-less labor or anything like that, but you know, if it's your first job, you've never had a job before, you can only leverage yourself and what you bring to the table so much. But if you can sniff out that they're desperate, I mean, you can definitely lay down the law. You should know what your hours are going to be, whether you're looking to be a part-time worker or a full-time worker. You know, there's nothing worse than wanting to be full-time and you're only working part-time. You got bills to pay, fuck that shit. You're trying to stack your bread, okay. Or if you're trying to be part-time and they end up scheduling you like 50 hours, well, because they're short-staffed, LMAO, just deal with it, bud. Like, no, go fuck yourself. We're not doing that out here. You should definitely know about your hours. And with that comes overtime. Is it going to be mandatory? Is it expected of you? Is there any, if any? I mean, if you're not looking to ever work overtime, then the only thing you should be really looking for is they're making sure your employer isn't expecting you to work any. But if it's something, you know, something you could see yourself doing from time to time. Oh, you know, I got a cool thing coming up. I could pick up some extra shifts, work some extra hours, get some extra cash for something cool I want to do. You know, find out what their policies are and that sort of stuff. It's just a general good rule of thumb to know. And, you know, if they have busy or slow seasons, can you expect to be scheduled consistently throughout the whole year? Is there going to be a time of the year where you're going to be overworked, or a time of year where you're going to be, you know, kind of off the schedule, furloughed, maybe even potentially? All very important things to know. These are probably all questions that you can absolutely get answered in an interview or post-interview. But they're definitely not information that's probably going to be handed to you, even though you think it really should be. You'll find that a lot of important information is going to be starved from you out in the workplace. And if you don't ask the questions, if you don't put up the fight, then you really won't see anything. So it's important to remember that as well. Now, point number 2 is going to be expectations. What is going to be expected of you? What position are you working? But on top of that, like, what are you really working? Because job titles only mean so much until you actually get thrown to the sharks and you're actually working at your job. What sort of training is there going to be? What sort of roles and responsibilities do you play? How do you fit into the machine that is going to be your working environment? These are all extremely varied from job to job to job. Even working at like one location of a company to another location of a company, there may be different managing styles and there may be other leadership styles. So try to find out, you know, how you're going to be trained, what your role is going to be, and what's expected of you. You should know if there's a pecking order or chain of command, you know, how they value seniority and those sorts of things. These are all going to be very vital to how you exist and perform and flourish, even potentially at your job, and how you can do as little as possible and still collect your paycheck. And that leads us into number 3, your goddamn paycheck. Negotiate your pay. You have leverage as a worker. Jobs do not function without workers. You should know what your pay is going to be going in there. There shouldn't be... It's very easy to go from the interview process, get offered the job on the spot, like say yes, and your pay never even comes up, and that's bogus. especially if you're looking at places like Indeed or any of those other job services. If they have a salary posted, or if they don't, you should definitely be bringing that up. I've heard a lot of stories of people going for positions where they offer between, let's say, I don't know, throw random numbers out there, $15 and $19 an hour, and they do the interview and they're like, oh yeah, well, 14. And it's like, well, go fuck yourself, kid. No wonder you're hiring. All right, this is bullshit. You should also know how often you get raises and on what metrics your work is evaluated on. Are you going to be seeing yearly or quarterly raises, and based off of what metrics, It's going to be off of growth, performance, and just sort of what they're looking out of you, and as far as contribution and growth and those sorts of things. Because pay is important. At the end of the day, it's the only reason why any of us work. It's not because it's fun. It's because we fucking have to survive. Don't even get me started on that. And what the promotions look like, what sort of opportunities are going to come, Excuse me. Are you going to be able to work your way up into other job titles with different, and with those job titles, what are the hours? What are the opportunities? What's the pay going to be like? It's very important, because you can go from pretty garbage, job like sweeping a warehouse floor, but you do it, and that there's opportunities for promotions for shift management. Now all of a sudden you have management experience and you can take that other places. So it's very important to know what promotions look like, what sort of jobs exist at the company, and how they look for people. Do they promote from within? Because if they don't, well then you're probably better off just getting a job somewhere else. Number 4 is going to be benefits, especially being a big adult out in the big bad real world. 401k, holy shit, are these things important? Trust me, if you're new to the channel, oh my goodness, you haven't heard me rant on about investing and how important it is to invest in yourself and your future. 401k, when does it start? How fast can you get one of those fucking things? And what's the 401k match going to be? These are so important to know, because if your company does not offer one, and you really feel like this is a good job for you, otherwise you could set up a Roth IRA and do the investing on your own account. But man, these 401ks with employer matches are just, the returns on them are ridiculous. Absolutely look into these. There's a million YouTube videos. I have YouTube videos on it. Do your research. Very important. Speaking of benefits, insurances, and that is plural: health, dental, vision, disability, life, long-term injury, short-term injury. I mean, these are important things to know. Paternity leave, fraternity leave, all of these things. They probably won't mention it. They'll probably have a pamphlet that you can get on request. You need to know your benefits and what the minimum requirement for receiving benefits is, whether it's for all employees, short-term, long-term. If you're going to be a temp, per diem, you need to work out these details of these requirements and see how you can fit them into yourselves and whether or not they're good. You should know how your PTO, vacation, sick time, etc., how those things work, whether it's just, oh, you've been here 3 years, so this is how many vacation days you get. They start at the beginning of the year. You can carry X amount over. These are details you should know, you should understand, and you should have a designated person to talk to about these things. You should know, all right, well, this is my boss. This is where he stands in the chain of command at this company. If I have any questions, I can come to them about it. That's very important. And the last thing I'm going to be bringing up is skills. You need mad skills like Napoleon Dynamite. What skills can you bring to the job? Lie on your fucking resume. Absolutely stretch the truth on that shit. Everyone else is doing it. You're at an inherent disadvantage if you are not doing it. Just do it. You don't need to throw some ridiculous lie out there that's going to get you fired. All right? But stretch the truth a little bit. Take real world experiences if you don't have job experiences yet on school leadership, club leadership. Try to make it seem like you are better than what they want to offer you. Make them feel like you are a worthwhile asset, and at the same time think about what skills you can take away once you reach certain job titles, or you can really leverage that going into other jobs in the future. You may just be a nosebleed part-time shift supervisor at some low-level job, but now you can tell people going forward that you have management experience, and that can hold a lot of weight. And how you can, bend the truth, stretch the truth alongside these sorts of things to be able to say that you have relevant experience, Like, I was able to go from being a shift supervisor at a pharmaceutical warehouse and take my trade experience to be able to do sales and ERP systems management for a trade warehouse. Now, I don't have the direct experience for the job position, but I have experience adjacent in both directions of sales and management, and I know how to use a computer, and I know about other trades, so I was able to stick all of those together and convince my boss during my interview that yes, I can bridge these gaps. This is something I'm confident that I'm able to do. I was confident in the interview, and I was able to get the position, and I was able to get good pay with good benefits for it. So now, these are all things that you're going to arm yourself with. You are going to overthrow your local work systems. You're going to be a beast. You're going to get paid what, probably still not what you deserve, but better than you would have if you didn't arm yourself with this knowledge. Let me know in the comments below if you like this video. Make sure to smash like, make sure to subscribe, and check out the links in the description. I got a community Discord, I got a Twitter, I got a, Only Friends account, all that fun stuff. Let me know if you like this video, if you like this new style, and what topic I should cover next week. I will see you all next time. Peace.